2008 to 2010 Chevrolet HHR SS. Riding the wave of nostalgia that permeated retro automotive design in the 2000s, Chevrolet styled the HHR after cars from its post-war period, namely the Suburban. However, we're less interested in the pedestrian station wagon, and instead are drawn to the performance-oriented HHR SS, which packs a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine producing 260 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. The sporty front-wheel drive HHR was sold either with a 5-speed manual transmission or a 4-speed auto. Chevrolet claimed it could accomplish a 0 to 60 sprint in just 6.3 seconds when equipped with the stick shift. It only lasted a few years, but we think clean examples will make for cool future classics. 1997 to 2002 Plymouth Chrysler Prowler. The Plymouth Prowler was conceived in the 1990s, but its production and sale continued into the early 2000s. A 3.5-liter V6 engine sits under the hood and sends power to the rear wheels by way of a 4-speed automatic transmission. The power plant initially produced 214 horsepower, but the Prowler churned out 253 horsepower from the 1999 model year until the end of production. Its 0 to 60 time was okay for the day at 5.9 seconds, though we always wished a larger engine could fit in the narrow engine bay. Chrysler only managed to sell 11,702 examples of this roadster, but its rarity and status as an icon of the early 2000s should ensure it will ride a new wave of popularity soon. 2005 to 2008 Dodge Magnum SRT8. The Dodge Magnum was a wagonized Charger, and in keeping with its muscle car looks, Dodge shoved a 425 horsepower V8 engine under the hood for the sporty SRT8 variant. Wagons historically struggle in the U.S. market, so this semi-sleeper model never enjoyed the popularity of its sedan counterpart. Nonetheless, it delivered impressive performance. We managed a 5.1-second 0 to 60 mile-per-hour time in the Magnum SRT8 on the drag strip. 2002 to 2005 Ford Thunderbird. MotoTrend named the Ford Thunderbird 2002 MotorTrend Car of the Year, predicting it was on its way to stardom. That wasn't the case. The retrolicious T-Bird didn't end up selling as well as expected, and Ford discontinued it after the 2005 model year. But there's something about failed cars that makes them even more lovable, adding a nostalgia factor that today charms us rather than revolts us. Lincoln LS V8. A fitting follow-up to the Thunderbird, the Lincoln LS was the Ford Coupe's platform mate and the 2000 MotorTrend Car of the Year. Its Jaguar-sourced V8 engine produced 252 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque, and we praised the sedan's razor-sharp handling and a firm, sporty ride. Alas, Lincoln's reputation among the buying public of the time wasn't the best. Shoppers didn't perceive the LS V8 as being as cool as German or Japanese alternatives. Today, with the ongoing death of naturally aspirated muscle in sports sedans, we can't help but look back at this capable Lincoln with fondness. 2006 to 2009 Cadillac XLR-V. Cadillac's XLR luxury roadster was seen as a cruiser for stodgy folks enjoying retirement. Those in a hurry to the yacht or country club could buy a hotted-up version of the 2-seater with a supercharged variant of the regular car's 4.6-liter Northstar V8 engine. It churned out 443 horsepower and 414 pound-feet of torque, and sent power to the rear wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission. It was a quick car in its day. It could sprint from 0 to 60 mile/hour in 4.6 seconds. The XLR-V rode on an early version of Cadillac's magnetic ride control, which impressed us with its poised road manners. This roadster wasn't a common sight in its day, and its increased rarity now makes it a lot cooler than it was when it was in production. 2000 to 2003 Subaru Impreza WRX. This generation of WRX was somewhat slept on, but diehards appreciate it as one of the first cool Subarus we ever received in the US after years of being able to drive it only in Gran Turismo video games. Outside of these enthusiasts, Bugai WRX look like pretty standard Japanese 4-door cars. A 227 horsepower all-wheel drive car was a big deal at the time, and these early examples solidified the WRX as a soon-to-be classic. 2003 to 2006 Pontiac GTO. The 5th-generation Pontiac GTO was not the retro cool muscle car people wanted it to be. It wasn't received well when it launched for the 2003 model year, but eventually it got the power it deserved thanks to GM's 6.0-liter LS 2 V8 engine, which paired either with a 4-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. The GTO 6.0 had the performance to match its GOAT nickname, 0 to 60 mile per hour in 4.8 seconds, and a top speed of 180 mile per hour. As folks start looking for some 15-year-old affordable performance, the final 2 years of the GTO may just have the appeal thereafter. 1999 till 2006, Honda Insight. Efficiency wasn't cool until celebrities started buying the second-generation Toyota Prius. For that reason, the original Honda Insight deserves a spot on this list. It was seen as a fuel saver and not much more. It felt like an appliance, but its design was revolutionary, and its name couldn't have been more fitting. Automobile Magazine called it slower, weirder, and relatively more expensive than the CRX it effectively replaced. But it now has a quirky coolness that might make it a car show standout in less than 10 years. 2004 to 2008, Acura TSX. Acura's dad's sedan wasn't seen as much more than a gussied-up Civic. However, its naturally aspirated 2.4-liter inline-4 engine produced 200 horsepower and eventually 205 ponies for the 2007 model year. With the advent and near-certain future of electrification hurtling toward us, high-revving four-door cars have gained a cool factor no one could have anticipated a decade and a half ago. 2002 to 2005 Lexus IS 300 SportCross. Let's face it, this is a weird-looking wagon. For that reason, and because of Americans' aversion to most cars with long roofs, the Lexus IS 300 SportCross didn't take off on our shores. Though Lexus only offered the model with an automatic transmission, this wagon had the same lively dynamics as its sedan sibling. If you can find a nice one, it may not be a bad idea to snag it, as these were the last and only wagons Lexus ever offered in our market. 2009 Pontiac G8 GXP. This one squeaks onto the list at the very end of the decade, as the Pontiac G8 GXP was sold only for one model year. It boasted a Corvette-sourced 6.2-liter V8, developing 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet. And Pontiac offered this muscular sports sedan with either an automatic or a manual transmission. It was quick. 0 to 60 took just 4.5 seconds, and it could run the quarter mile in 13 seconds at 109.6 miles per hour. The Pontiac G8 GXP arrived at a terrible time, however. The Pontiac brand was on its way out, and Americans kept clamoring for crossovers. Like many others on this list, seeing one of these cars today is a rare treat.